Yo guys, what is going on? It is Invin here, and today I am bringing you guys some of my best and most easy gold farming methods in New World for June 2022. Now this video is specifically going to focus on easy methods so that they are going to be available to pretty much everybody in the game, whether you're just starting out leveling, you're starting a new character, or you're more towards the end game, or even an end game full player that just wants to make some easy cash. These ways are all going to be hopefully useful to make you all some gold. Obviously, the markets will differ slightly on each server, so do be sure to check the prices on your server to see whether each of these methods is more worth your time than another one, because I can't speak, of course, for each individual server. These are just general trends that we're seeing thanks to the update we saw in May. So jumping right into it, make sure you guys subscribe if you haven't already done so that you don't miss out on any future uploads like this one today. And if you do go on to enjoy the video, do be sure to drop me a like. And the first one here, as you guys can see on screen, what my character is now taking part in is going to be gathering wood, any type of wood, and making it into charcoal. Now, the reason for this is, of course, with the brand new update in May, where we saw a big addition to the amount of orichalcum nodes around the map, as well as star metal nodes, and the respawn times on those reduced. Along with platinum and gold respawn time is reduced as well. You can bet that pretty much everybody is doing a lot more smelting now. Obviously, this revolves around your daily crafts, as well as leveling up most of your skills. You will need some sort of metal. Now, gathering any type of wood that you can, preferably the green wood, as this is the cheapest, but also aged wood is pretty cheap on most servers too. So either of those two, either the young or mature trees. And then what you'll be able to do with that is turn it into charcoal, which sells for a decent price in comparison to the wood. Not quite enough to warrant you going ahead and buying it on most servers. However, some servers, especially the aged wood, the price can really drop. So you might be able to pick it up for, say, 0.2 each. And then the charcoal is selling for 0.5. So after tax, you're making a profit. But you do need to be careful there. However, like you've seen I've just done there, I've gone and got a little bit of wood. What we're going to do is run straight back into Winswood. Winswood is my favourite location for doing this, as it is very close by. You simply run across the bridge here, go into the smeltery, go in, make charcoal. You can see I got 338 green wood and 72 aged. Did have a little bit, about 150 green wood before, so it's not quite as quick as that. But yeah, go ahead there, turn that into charcoal. If you've got a high level of smelting, you will also get a little bonus there, so that is 41. And you guys will be able to see if we then go ahead and go onto the marketplace here. Charcoal is selling for a very decent price, 0.43 each. And that took me not very much time at all. It's not a huge profit margin you'll be making, but it is a good, sustainable source of income, because lots of people just want to get on with the smelting and forget to do charcoal, and then they will just go and buy some from the trading post, and that is where you can come in and swoop up a bit of gold. Now, the next method that I want to talk about here is reagents, and pretty much the smelting reagents are going to be your best. So we'll look at flux here as an example. Some servers, other reagents are decent, but again, the mining stuff and the smelting stuff is kind of what has taken over since the last patch, and therefore these are going to be the most expensive. Obviously, starting off with Sandflux, the lowest tier. These are pretty much anybody is able to get these from any chest. You just need to go around the world and loot chests, whichever chest run you want to do. If you're an endgame player, any level zone, any chest run that you like, you can just go ahead and do, and you'll get at least the tier 3 one from the lower level areas, and then obviously tier 4 from the mid tiers and tier 5 from the end game zones. Now these are 0.55 each, and if you're anything like me, you've probably got a lot in your bank that you might not be using right now, so you could even sell some there. But obviously this is about farming gold, so just looting chest runs is going to be the way to do this. You then jump up to tier 4, which is the Sandflux, and these are around a similar price. So if you are kind of in that mid-game area, I would just recommend going to the easiest place you can to run around chests, because you're not going to see too much difference in the profit. However, as soon as you are able to get yourself up to these endgame zones, this is where you're going to see the money. These are 1.96 gold each on my server. Most servers have a general trend of this going up in price since this update came out, from around the 1 mark to at least 150, 160, but again, in some cases upwards of 2, like my server almost is. And these, particularly for the end game players, if you're throwing it in with your elite zone runs that you're doing daily, weekly, whatever you want to do there, you'll probably pick up at least 100 or 2 of this obsidian flux. Although you may use some yourself, there is going to be an excess there that you can probably sell quite nicely. And again, if you are someone that wants to farm this out, you can simply run. It doesn't even have to be elite zones, it can just be any of the areas in end game zones. So for example, like Reekwater is right here, you can go from the settlement down to this sunken aspect place here. Loot all of this. It is pretty difficult, this particular one, but there's some easy areas you can go to. Any area that's got chests, loot the chests, you've got a chance at getting those tier 5 reagents, and they all will sell for a decent amount of money. Now, like I said at the start of today's video, it is really worth just checking the prices on your server, because even the aged tannin on my server, so the tier 5 variant, is still pretty low in price, 0.32. It's not horrendous, but if we go ahead and have a look at some of like the tier 4, this is 0.03, so this really isn't that great. However, of course, it swings and roundabouts, because if you get the flux, that's much more money. And then if we move towards something like solvent, this one is a little bit more than the tannin was, but nowhere near as much as the flux. Like I said, the flux is clearly the best option if you can get that one, but it is randomized drops. So again, check the prices on your server to see how little you can get versus how much you can get, and again, weigh up your time versus the time it takes to do these runs, etc., to be what you're going to get. Again, if you are able to do the tier 5 runs, this is why they are better, because even the lower price ones are still going to make you some gold, whereas on the tier 3 and tier 4 reagents, they're pretty much going to be on like 0.03, 0.02, that sort of region on the tier 3 and tier 4 reagents until you get to the tier 5. So tier 5, if you can do it, but of course, if not, then the lower ones will do for the time being. And do not get dragged into the issue of converting it with the material conversion things that you see down here. These are more often than not worth it because of the tax that they cost you. You can have a look if you want, but I would steer away from it. Usually you pay more in tax than you will ever earn back off the marketplace, so do bear that in mind. And the next thing that we're going to be talking about here is Hyssop. This is very, very easy to get your hands on, and you will see the price of this is 0.57 per Hyssop. Yeah, that is per one, and you get about 4 or 5 at least every single time that you go ahead and gather some of this. My favourite spot is down here by First Light, so I'm going to travel down there and show you guys that spot. So we've come to the way shrine in First Light here. I simply go out of the settlement just up the top here, and we're going over to the right down here where the grass is, just over before the bridge kind of area. And this is a very, very easy access area. It is literally one of the starting zones, so any level of player can do this. You can also grab some of the boars and get some leather if you want to, and all that good stuff going on as well. However, for me, the most worthwhile thing by far is the Hyssop. You simply wander down here and collect as much of it as you possibly can. It's either here that I like to go for certain spices, because obviously they drop spices as rare drops as well, or I like to go up to Ebonscale Reach, and I'll just show you guys on the map. The best area for that is over by this fast travel point here, and you kind of want to go up and down near the road here. You'll see a ton of Hyssop over there as well, so it's pretty much second best to this one, although maybe it's kind of a joint first. They're both very, very good areas. But essentially what you're going to want to do is head down over this road, and you will start to see there is also things like hemp around here, so you can pick all of that up. But generally, all around the trees, there is a ton of Hyssop. You can easily get 1,000 in 15 minutes here, and yeah, you can get a lot of that sold very, very quickly for a very good, easy amount of gold. You know, if you're watching a YouTube video, for example, you can do this in the background very easily. There's very rarely any mobs here unless the corrupted portals spawn, at which point, if you are level 60, you can solo clear these, so that should not even be a problem. If you're a lower level, just try to avoid them. You can throw in a bit of hemp while you're going around as well. And you're just going to want to run past all of the tree kind of areas, and you'll see a load of this. And as you can see, per one, we're getting 4, we're getting another 5 there, and that's already 0.57 per, so it's a few gold per Hyssop strand, which is a really, really good way to make some solid gold right now in New World. Now, the final thing here that we're going to be talking about is boss farming. Now, some bosses in New World have some really, really good drops. My personal favourite place to farm is in Mangled Heights. You're going to want to go right up to the top here and farm the final boss. This guy has a chance to drop the weaponsmithing hat, which I'll show you guys on my server in just a moment, but on most servers is pretty expensive and can be worth doing. However, the drop chances on some of these items, particularly the weaponsmithing hat, are very, very low, hence why the price is high, but it can take an awful long time to do, so it's not something I would strongly recommend as a reliable farm in comparison to some of the other things. However, some of the bosses have some good drops that you can also get alongside it. Like I said, this is my favourite one to do whenever I've got a bit of free time, because of course I've now fully got the weaponsmithing set, so this is just pure profit if I do manage to get it. But the other thing that you can do for a lot of profit off sets is go for smelting, trade skill aptitude. Every time you get a tier 3 version of that box, you do have a chance to get smelter's gear. So if you don't have the set already, you can use it yourself. But each of those pieces are selling for roughly about 20,000 each on most servers. And as you guys can see right here on my server, the weaponsmith hat is not even on the trading post at all. So if you do get this drop, you are going to be able to get a premium for it. I've seen these go for anywhere between 50 and 80,000 gold on my server. Again, it will depend and it will vary from server to server, so do try and get a rough guide on the price if you can before you invest a lot of time into this. But again, it's more aimed at sort of endgame players. However, it is a very easy one to do. It's just not easy, of course, to get that drop, which is what everybody is hoping to do once they're there. So guys, that is pretty much going to be it for today's video. If you guys have enjoyed, please do be sure to drop a subscribe down below. And if you found this video useful, please do drop me a like as well. Both of those things really help to support my content here on YouTube, so I'd really appreciate that. Hopefully this guide will help you guys to farm up some money and make some nice gold here in New World in June. Whatever you're wanting to do, get your new set on the go, get some new pieces of gear, or whatever else you are planning to do, level up your trade skills. Hopefully this helps you to do it a little bit quicker. But that is going to be it for today, so I'd like to thank you for your time, thank you for watching, and I will catch you again very shortly on a brand new upload. Take care guys, and peace.